So, recently, I have been doing a lot of soul searching. I have been discovering a lot about myself. I have been discovering a lot about the universe. I have discovering just a lot in general, really. And I've come to one really, really big realization. And that is that Ollie, am not the mind. I am not the body, which means I'm not my thoughts nor my emotions. If I am not these things, then what am I? And I began to realize that I am watching myself, right? I'm watching my thoughts, I'm watching my emotions, I'm doing all the watching, and I am the awareness watching all of this. But in the awareness, a really good question comes up on what the awareness is and how does it play a role in consciousness, right? Are consciousness and awareness the same? Is soul and spirit the same? Is the soul also the awareness, or is the soul watching the awareness, or is the awareness part of the soul? And you have all these different questions. And awareness is something without form. Awareness is who we are. And what it feels like is this mind and this body are not us, and that we are simply expressing ourselves being consciousness, spirit, source, through this mind, through this body, to give ourselves, source, a new perspective or a subjective perspective to then know itself even more. We, consciousness, are expressing ourselves through the mind and through the body in a subjective experience to give ourselves, source, a newer experience of ourselves, to give ourselves a way to know ourselves better, right? Because if there was love and that's all there was, how would that love know that it's love if there wasn't something to compare it to? How would it fully appreciate the value of itself if it didn't know what else there was? Similar to if you went through your whole life and you only felt happy, would you be aware that it is happy because it's all you ever knew? And this kind of brings in the law of contrast and how important fear and materialism and just the age of the ego, the third dimension, is in the self-realization of the self, right? Because without these things to experience that are not us, we play this game, I am not the mind, I am not the body, I am not my thoughts, I am not my emotions, I am not all these things. That's the game we play. I am not. And once you go along that search for long enough, you ask the question, well then what am I? And you realize that you're right, you are not the mind, you are not the thoughts, you are not the emotions, you are not the legs, the hands, you are not all these things. You are all of them. The statement is then reworded to, I am not only the mind. I am not just the body. I am the body and the mind and the thoughts and the emotions and the soul and the consciousness and this camera and this cap and this laptop. I am everything. But in that I am everything, you are also nothing, because everything and nothing are one and the same. There are two sides of the same coin. If you are everything and everything is you, then you are also nothing and nothing is you. And I think that's really interesting, man. I think that's so interesting. I think that is so interesting. And I'm making this video just sitting on my bed at 10 p.m. at night, just wondering and thinking about existence and purpose and life and love and everything in between. Because we are everything and we are nothing. isn't that just so beautiful? Isn't that just so freeing? And we as a collective consciousness are rising up to the consciousness of unconditional love, to 5D, if you will. And when we rise up to what is known as 5D or unconditional love, we begin to ask ourselves, what was the point of fear and shame and guilt if all we are is love? And you can go down a rabbit hole really quickly with this question, with this curiosity. Because you start to think, well, is my whole life a waste then? Was my whole life a waste until this moment? No, it's not a waste. You had to experience those things so you could know what this was. So you could know what unconditional love was. You had to experience fear so you could know that love exists. And you had to experience fear so you could fully appreciate love. The importance of that contrast is very rarely appreciated and acknowledged because it doesn't feel good to be fearful and to be shameful, but it's necessary. At least it was necessary. There's no more karma anymore. Humans aren't being born with karmic lifetime. They are being born to love, because all we are is love. So why not just love? Why not spend our lives loving and being love and giving love and receiving love? Because love is all that there is. Love is everything and nothing, and we are everything and nothing. So let's step into it. Let's embrace everything. Let's embrace love because we are